Hello and welcome back to Bison Overtime. It's been 2 weeks since we had a show. Well, with Easter last week, we have a lot to get back into. So I'm Malik Mitchell.
I'm Alex Susky. Yes, you're right, Malik. We have a lot to catch up on. We're starting off with football. The team has not played since March 27th against UND, which, we crushed them, right? We talked about that already.
Yep.
So they were supposed to, that was March 20th. We were supposed to play March 27th against the USD Coyotes.
Yep. Unfortunately, the game was canceled 2 weeks ago due to players on both teams tested positive, but later they said it was just on our side.
The thing that I think is interesting is that weekend, I think only 2 Missouri Valley games were played because NDSU USD was canceled because USD has had several COVID issues before this season, so they've already filled up their extra bye week. UND's game was, I think, postponed because UND also had COVID, so I'm assuming that that's how the two teams got it, was that 20th game. And then SDSU was supposed to play Illinois State. What happened with that game?
It got canceled there, and also the Redbirds announced that they're no longer participating in the league due to the health of their players. But I think they're just cowering out because they're scared to lose the upcoming games against SDSU because that's a tough opponent. Southern Illinois, who beat us and UND. Right. So I'm scared of I think they were scared of their future.
And
opponents.
I think they were like 1-3 before they dropped out anyway. Obviously, maybe they are really concerned about their players. We don't really know.
Yeah.
So then last week, April 3rd, we were supposed to play SDSU in the Dakota Marker game. That one was postponed. Just for context, the USD game was postponed at 9:30 a.m. That game was supposed to be like a 2:30 p.m. kickoff. Thankfully, we did know about the SDSU game, I think, on Wednesday. Because NDSU still had the positive COVID cases.
I think it's even more frustrating when you're believing, like in the beginning, you're hearing that you're not going to have a season in the first place, and then you have one, and you see it slipping away slowly each week. I think that's terrible. What do you think about it?
I think so too, and I know that what Coach N said earlier this week is like we've had 3 game plans in 10 days because first, it was USD, SDSU, and now they're playing UNI, which we'll talk about later. But it is hard for those players, and unfortunately, senior corner Josh Hayes took that time to think and is now entering the transfer portal.
Yeah, Mike Ince said their players looking up are freshmen, Courtney Eubanks and Marquise Siegel. Both freshmen that are going to step up, so that's going to be crazy. I don't know how that's going to play out. I mean, we're playing tough opponents coming up. So.
And Josh, there is no hard feelings. Obviously, I know fans and probably players are like, bro, why are you leaving us halfway through the season? But he had very good reasons. He said he wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for Bison football. He released to the media that he does have a 2-year-old daughter down in Florida, and so I think, who did you say, like Jabril Cox, right? Entered the transfer portal to try and go down to family. Hayes played 52 games with the team and won 3 championships with the Bison. Obviously a really big hit.
Yeah, just like Mike had said, he did everything they asked him to do. Plus, you're seeing like his old teammate, Jabril Cox, going in the transfer portal and going to LSU, and now he's a top draft pick. So if he can, do the same thing, why wouldn't he take that?
Exactly, and I think, Matt Entz was like, we're going to miss him, but he's doing the best, and he, explained it very well to players and staff. So looking forward, Bison travel to Cedar Falls, Iowa to play the UNI Panthers, who are 3-3 on the season. They also have not played. They did not play last weekend because both USD and UNI had COVID. Okay, so NDSU and UNI have both had COVID. USD's had it for several weeks. Missouri Valley's just struggling right now. What do you think is going to happen in this game?
Well, the Bison are currently ranked 2nd nationally.
Right behind JMU.
And with SCSU and UND. But I doubt whether they'll play tomorrow because it just seems like I personally think they're going to cancel their season if they don't play tomorrow.
NDSU?
Yes. Because they're just slowly canceling, and then you might as well just cancel the whole season. That's how I look at it.
I had that fear too, especially on that 27th weekend when only that one game played. I was like, oh gosh, if Illinois State pulls out, who else is going to pull out? So do you think they're not going to play tomorrow?
No.
And why is that?
Because there's just these tests coming out positive and stuff like that, and It's been our players. Like Mike had said, he doesn't control what the players does on the other hours of the day. So we don't know if they're gonna be knuckleheads and go out and catch COVID, then they're not gonna play.
I see the concern, but I really think that these players are determined to play. I think you and I were kind of talking about it. Those younger players are the ones who are like more determined because they're like, hey, I need to play. Seniors are graduating. Don't be stupid for our sake,
Yep.
I'm hopeful that they'll play. I want to see Bison football. Coach Entz was an assistant coach there for some time.
Yep.
And so he mentioned earlier this week how solid that program is. He did say how their quarterback, UNI's quarterback, has been the one struggling with COVID. So if he's clear to play, it'll be a...
See what I mean? It's already a red flag already.
The reason that NDSU had to cancel 2 weeks ago was because I think it was one positive test, but because they had traveled and stayed in a hotel room, we did not have enough eligible players. So I think that hopefully both teams are taking that into consideration.
Yep, hopefully they will play Saturday. But when we come back, we'll dive into softball and volleyball.
Founded in 1985, the Missouri Valley Football Conference has established a tradition of FCS football excellence. Competing at the highest level of NCAA Division I, student athletes at its 10 institutions demonstrate character, passion, and integrity as they grow as a student, an athlete, and a citizen. The Missouri Valley Football Conference, where leaders are shaped and champions are forged.
No kid deserves to go hungry, but try as they might, not every family can afford to put food on the table every day. That's why the Great Plains Food Bank and their partner agencies work every day to bring food to our hungry neighbors. Every dollar donated can provide 4 meals for those in need. Go to greatplainsfoodbank.org and donate today so no kid in North Dakota ever has to go hungry.
Welcome back to Bison Overtime. In this segment, we will be recapping softball's last couple of weeks and then volleyball's regular season being ending. So 2 weeks ago, softball split a series with Western Illinois. The first game, this was like a very up and down series. They lost 2-6, then they won 16-0 in 5 innings. Mercy ruled them. How often do you hear about mercy rule in softball?
Never. Jesus.
And then they won 15-9. But in the last game, they lost 3-11 in 6 innings. So very up and down. Last week, they played UMKC, split it again, lost the first 2, won the last 2. What did you see in that game?
So on Friday, Skylar Padgett and Des Cardenas had 1 hit and 1 run. And the second game on Friday, Emily had 1 hit and 1 run, and Stephanie Sereno had 2 hits. Yeah, that was on Saturday. And then they had a second game on Saturday. And Emily again and Nicole Lucia had 3 hits and 1 run. So they did good that game.
There's a lot, like what you're saying, you just named off 5 different girls?
Yep.
So that's kind of what we've been saying, although they may not have the best record, they're 9-19.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like an up-and-coming year for them, just like volleyball, which we'll talk about in a minute. But if you remember 2 weeks ago, you and I kind of talked about how, okay, why is our team not doing as well as expected, but they've been on the road so much. Now that they're starting Summit League play, they're 4-4 in the conference and 3rd in the Summit League. So now that they're starting to switch into these conference games, do you think we'll see them improve more?
Yeah, I think they could just take a deep breath and really get used to being home more, right?
Right.
Yeah.
They are at home for their next 15 game in Thoraldson Park.
Yeah, I think being on the road takes a toll on them because it shows with baseball too. So I think they can get back to winning, not
Hopefully.
splitting. Yeah.
They will play USD tomorrow. Yep. USD is 8-25 overall, so they've played a lot more games than us too.
Yep.
They are 3-1 in the conference, so I think they are second in the Summit League, right above us.
Yep. So it'll be a tough game.
The last time that these two teams met up, March 19th. Okay, in the Kansas Jayhawk Invitational, NDSU scored 8 runs in the 5th inning to beat them 9-1. Okay, so we have beat them once before. Yep. Do you think that maybe the Coyotes will come out for vengeance, or do you think?
Well, you can tell it was a close game because you said they came back to win that, right? So we definitely have to start out strong because we don't want to do that again because they might not let that happen again. So yeah, they're definitely probably going to come for vengeance.
So like you said, they have a doubleheader tomorrow starting at noon and a doubleheader Sunday at 11. How do you think that is going to take a toll on the team? Playing 4 games and you'll start both of the morning games less than 24 hours apart. How do you think that's going to be for them?
Well, just like we said for every sport, they're going to be tired, but at the end of the day, everybody wanted the season. Nobody thought they were going to have a season because of COVID, so they got to suck it up and play. Exactly.
Both Malik and I will be at the games this weekend, so hopefully we can have some good reports for next Friday's show. Yeah. Switching now to volleyball. Their season ended, I think it was 2 weekends ago. Played UND, swept them. Both games.
3-0.
The first game on the second day, Bison won 25-7. So very, a strong finish to the season. They ended 10-8 overall, 8-8 for the conference. Did not qualify for the Summit League tournament though. How heartbreaking do you think that was for the team?
I think it was heartbreaking because they are good enough to be in it, but they still had some ups and downs. But how do you feel about it?
I think so. I think that there is a lot to be proud of with this season because, it was a shortened season. Freshman outside hitter Allie Hinsey, we've talked about her all season long. She was named the Summit League's Freshman of the Year. Also made it onto the 12-woman All-Summit League team. And then Taylor Kwan, the freshman libero, also made the all-freshman team. How do you think that those girls felt? First year playing with the D1 volleyball team, getting these recognitions.
I know it felt good because Allie Hinsey definitely deserves it. She's been balling out and leading our team in kills the whole season. And plus, if we go back to them getting better next year, they're going to be way more experienced, and I think they'll have a way better season than they did this season. So, yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Coming a couple more stats from Hinsey's season. She led the league with 3.8 kills per set. Against Omaha a couple weeks ago, she had 22 kills and 23 digs for the first 2020 performance by Bison in over a decade. I did not look it up, but Jordan Kissman in 2010 won the Freshman of the Year. So I'm wondering if Jordan maybe was the last person to get that honor. Yes. And then Hinsey also, she just across the team had 237 kills and had 190 digs, 27 blocks, and 17 aces, all in a shortened season. So, how do you move on from here? How do you improve, especially with a longer season next fall?
Don't let up. Still have that fuel because at the end of the day, they were losing a lot. So definitely work harder to avoid that for next season. That's how I feel about it.
I think there's a lot to be proud of for what they did do, although it probably wasn't the ending they wanted. But I think there's a lot to be proud of, especially with, Taylor Kwan and Allie Hinsey's hard work getting recognized by the league. When we come back, we will be talking about track and field and golf. Don't go away.
Technology Learning and Media Center, located in the Quinton Burdick Building, room 150C, provides a variety of services to assist you with all of your technology-related coursework and personal learning goals. The TLMC offers one-on-one tutoring and assistance in topics ranging from basic computer skills to advanced topics such as design, Adobe products, and multimedia software. A resource library that includes books on the latest software releases, online resources including a lynda.com kiosk that provide free access to high-quality video tutorials on hundreds of topics. Free workshops on a variety of topics taught each semester by our student staff. Software and hardware for audio and video capture, conversion, and editing. plus personal assistance on your multimedia projects. Multiple scanners are available at the TLMC, including one large format scanner and a slide and film scanner. The Wacom tablet provides ultimate control in your favorite graphics and illustration software and can help you to create stunning digital artwork. Large format poster printing is also done at the TLMC. Our walk-in media resources include the Whisper Room sound booth for recording professional quality voiceovers and audio. The TLMC Media Studio is available by reservation and provides equipment and space for video recording, audio recording, studio photography, screen capture, and a green screen for special effects. If you have any questions on these services, be sure to visit the TLMC website, and while you're there you can check out a variety of learning and media resources, or just stop by the next time you're in the Quentin Burdick building and check out what we have to offer.
Glad you didn't go anywhere. Now we're going to dive into track and field and golf. So track and field had their spring classic meet last Friday. You know, back to the good stuff. Tally won the hammer throw and shot put. He's ranked nation's top 20 in both events. Brandon Lewis both won the long jump and the triple jump. What's some of the girls' stats?
So 2 weekends ago, Akili Moten extended her shot put at the Shocker Invitational, and then last weekend she extended it again and is now second in the nation. So that's one girl who just won't settle for anything. Last weekend, this is on the boys' side, freshman Max Otterdahl, he entered the school's all-time top 10 list in both shot put and discus, and that was his first time appearing with the team. First time appearing, made it into top 10 in not one but two categories, so shout out to him. Yep. Senior Maddie Niles was named the Summit League Field Athlete of the Week. She is in the hammer throw and had one of the nation's top performance in throwing last weekend. She extended her school record. So that's all for the outdoor season. The indoor track and field season, which ended, a month ago now? The Summit League's awards were released. So Alex Talley and Akili Moten were named the Summit League Field Athletes of the Year. Jenny Bargar-Petrash claimed the Women's Track Athlete of the Year, and then NDSU head coach Stevie Keller swept the Coach of the Year honors with both the men's and the women's track and field.
Yeah, like I said before, I think this is tracks. Do you think this is tracks like golden years, like the prime of track and field?
It's like everything is clicking.
All right,
for them.
everything is. Someone's going to the all-time list, top 10, top 20. Do you think this is their prime?
I don't know. I think that they can always improve. You know, you don't just magically come out this good. I think that NDSU, obviously, Stevie Keller knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
For getting both the men's and the women's teams Coach of the Year awards.
Yep.
You can't just all of a sudden become Coach of the Year. You know, you have to prime yourself. You have to have been a good athlete, good coach. Then you have to treat your athletes with kindness, and especially with this year, with COVID keeping them safe too, having to juggle all of those things and still have basically a perfect season is so impressive.
Yeah, and the consistency of indoor and outdoor and every week, it's crazy. But now we're going to dive into golf, the men's.
Before we get into that, cross country happened in the fall. We never got to talk about that.
Okay.
Both the men's and the women's cross country teams earned the All Academic Team Award from the U.S. Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Association. So more smart athletes out there. Switching now to golf. Yes, what were you saying?
So the men's golf team had a meet in South Carolina. Lucky they keep getting all the good weather.
The warm weather, yeah.
So on Monday, freshman Jack Johnson, which is a name that keeps reappearing, is
someone that we've heard all season.
Yeah, tied for second. He's only a freshman. Tied for second with 138, shooting 70 in the first round and 68 in the second. What are some girls we got?
So I just have overall stats. So starting off with the men, they had two of the best rounds in school history last week. So their first round, they scored a 279, and that's tied for the sixth best in school history. And then they had a 277 the second day, and that's tied for third best in school history. And then the final round, they shot a 286, bringing their three-round total to an 842, which is the second best 54-hole score in school history. So obviously, kids like Jack Johnson are doing what they're supposed to so that the team can, do well. And they did win that tournament.
Yep, at the end they won. Jack Johnson, they all were in the top 10, which is crazy.
The women's team, unfortunately, was not as lucky. They shot a 312 in the first round, a 316 in the second round. They were in sixth place after the first day. And then they shot a 304 in the final round and ended 6th in the Invitational. South Carolina Upstate swept every title, so I think they had 50 shots less than NDSU. So, I mean, only 50 shots between first and sixth place isn't that bad. Looking next, both teams travel to Elkhorn, Nebraska to compete at the Stampede at the Creek. I think it's Sunday and Monday? Monday,
Yep.
Tuesday?
Monday and Tuesday.
Sophomore, I don't know, did you see about Nate Diesel from the men's team at all?
Yeah, he tied for 5th with 210.
He was named the Summit League Men's Golfer of the Week yesterday. So, good job to him too, you know, with freshman of Jack
Right,
and now
Jack
sophomore.
Jackson, yeah.
We got lots of upcoming golfers.
Yep, Jack Johnson can get all the shine. But, yeah, like you said, the next meet is on Monday and Tuesday. It's their last regular meet before the Summer League tournament, actually, championship. So, that'll be crazy. What do you think is going to
I don't know.
play out?
I think the men will obviously have a lot of momentum going into this. I think the girls still have a lot to prove. You know, we've talked with Holly Murphy just on and off, and she said that they're really young. The girls team is pretty young. She's a freshman herself. And so they're just still trying to find their groove, especially with having to play indoors a lot, because I think golf typically is a fall sport, but because of COVID, they switched to the springs,
Yep.
and so now they're having to practice inside, which she talked about in our interview with her a month or so ago. But I think there's a lot for both teams to prove, and I think they will do well. I don't think either team will necessarily win it, but I think they will be happy with their performance.
Yep. Okay. When we come back, don't go anywhere. We'll come back with baseball and soccer.
There are so many great things to experience at NDSU. It's hard to pick one, but my favorite is
The people, they make it such a warm place.
The Bison aren't just across the country, they're across the globe.
It's the perfect distance from home. The faculty are our biggest cheerleaders. Hands-on research experience. The affordable tuition.
All the opportunities to stay active on campus.
Real-world learning experiences.
Once I got on campus, it felt like home.
The NDSU bookstore has everything you need to show off your Bison pride. The bookstore can have you sporting green and gold wherever you go. It offers many different brands, sizes, styles, and selection so that you find exactly what you're looking for. Shop the NDSU bookstore and show your spirit today.
No kid deserves to go hungry. But try as they might, not every family can afford to put food on the table every day. That's why the Great Plains Food Bank and their partner agencies work every day to bring food to our hungry neighbors. Every dollar donated can provide 4 meals for those in need. Go to greatplainsfoodbank.org and donate today so no kid in North Dakota ever has to go hungry.
there are so many great things to experience at NDSU. It's hard to pick one, but my favorite is
The people, they make it such a warm place.
The Bison aren't just across the country, they're across the globe.
It's the perfect distance from home. The faculty are our biggest cheerleaders. Hands-on research experience. The affordable tuition.
All the opportunities to stay active on campus.
Real-world learning experiences.
Once I got on campus, it felt like home.
Welcome back to Bison Overtime. For the last segment of our show, we will be talking about baseball and soccer. Starting off with soccer, unfortunately, they lost both of their games against USD 2 weeks ago. First game was a last-minute loss. SDSU got a shot in to win 2-1, and then the second game they lost 1-0. Last week was their last road game of the season against USD. They lost both games, I think 6-0. 6-0, I think. What did you see from that? What did you see from that USD game?
USD game. So okay, Thursday they lost 3-0.
Okay, 3-0 both days.
Yeah, and they're getting swept this weekend for the second time in a row.
I know. It's an unfortunate 2 weeks for the team, as both of those opponents were critical for Summit League, as you know, both USD and SDSU are big-time rivals of NDSU for all of the sports. So the soccer team ends their regular season tonight and Sunday. They play ORU. Kickoff is at 6 tonight and then noon on Sunday. ORU is 2-11 on the season and 0-6 on the road. What do you think we'll see tonight and Sunday?
I'm not gonna lie, I lost faith in them. I don't know. Like, the games, like, I talked to a couple of soccer players, and they said SDSU was supposed to be an easy game, and they lost to them. They got swept by them.
Both times, yeah.
Exactly. So I don't know how they play, what their mentality is, but I lost faith in them. What do you think?
In the last 4 games, they've gotten 1 point. It's just, this is exactly what we saw from volleyball. They started up so great, and then they hit those conference rivals, and then it just, unfortunately, just couldn't finish the season out. But, volleyball ended their season on a high note, so maybe soccer will do the same.
Yeah, but volleyball didn't get in.
That's true. But I think volleyball did do a shorter, I was trying to find it, I think they only let 2 teams in. It wasn't really a tournament, it was the top 1 and 2 seeds.
Yeah, but this is our last game before the vast tournament, before the Summit League championship.
Right. So, lots of pressure on these girls, too. Hopefully, they do well tonight and tomorrow. You can go, I think they're playing in the Dakota Bubble Field, I think is what it's called. Here in Fargo, you can go out and support the team.
Okay, and we have a lot to cover for baseball. So 2 weeks ago, the baseball team split the weekend with Oral Roberts winning 2 of the 4 games. On Friday, they won 6-3. Peter Brookshire had 1 hit and 2 runs, and Jake Mallett had the same. The second game on Friday, they lost 4-5. Bennett Hostetler had 1 hit and 1 run. On Saturday, they lost again 3-5. Kaylin Schwab had 3 hits and 1 run. Peter Brookshire had 2 hits and 1 run. On Sunday, they won 97. Peter Brookshire, Bennett Hedler had 1 hit and 2 runs. So I don't know why they always split the weekend.
Right, that's what we're seeing from all of our sports. We saw it with basketball too. Against that ORU game, they won in extra innings that first game, and then like you said, lost and then won again. And then Omaha won an extra inning, or no, they lost an extra inning. So what do you think those first games of the series, both going into extra innings, what do you think that's about?
First games, I don't know, because first game's supposed to be fresh, new start. I would have an answer if it was like the second game, but I don't know. What do you think? Is it because
I don't know. Maybe it's because they don't really know the team that well, and so they're just trying to figure it out, see how they're playing. Like I said, they won against ORU in extra innings and lost to Omaha in extra innings. So it's not like both games that they figured out and won. So I just thought it was something pretty interesting that I don't think either of us can really explain.
Yeah. So last week they split the weekend against Omaha again, winning 2 out of the 4 games. On Friday they lost 4-15. But some new names on the stat sheet. Jake Malik, Tucker Rode, Charlie Hesse, Zach Saleno had 1 hit and 1 run. The second game on Friday, they won 8-2. Charlie Hesse had 1 hit and 2 runs, and Tucker Rode had 2 runs. So these new names, what do you think these guys are stepping up, or? I
think so, and I think Charlie, I believe, is a junior. He had an outstanding freshman year, and then sophomore year, because of the shortened season, it was hard to tell if he didn't have great stats because they only played 4 games or what. And I think he's slowly getting back into his rhythm, so I'm really excited to see his name. And Tucker, I don't know, the team is what? I think 18-8 now? Yeah. Yep. So now that we're kind of getting closer to the end of the season, coming home, maybe the coaching staff wants to get these fresh names in.
Yep. And then on Saturday, they lost 0-7. They didn't score any runs. On Sunday, they won 10-4. Bennett Hostetler, Zach Saleno, Kaylin had 2 hits and 1 run. Like you said, they're 18-8 overall and 7-5 in the conference, which is good in the conference. They play today, tomorrow, and Sunday against Western Illinois. Western Illinois is 9-16 overall, 5-7 in the conference. We should win. I think we should get a sweep.
I think so too. And Western Illinois is 4-9 away, and they're on a 2-game losing streak. So I think come out to watch Bison baseball tonight. I think it'll be a really good match.
Yep.
All right, well, that's all we have for Bison Overtime today. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to tune in next Friday at 12:30, same time, same place, to see more about Bison Sports. I'm Alex Dusky.
I'm Malik Mitchell.
Have a great weekend.
Don't go anywhere.